Hi, Karin. Welcome to my podcast. You've been actually participating in the certification course, Business for SDGs. And I know that you are an innovation manager and actually working for, I think, the largest and the most famous one incubator in south of Sweden, MINC. And I also know that you've been working with innovation for a very long time. But welcome, and please introduce yourself on what you do.
Hi, Eva. Thank you for inviting me to this session. Yes, as you said, I've been working with innovation for some years, quite some years now. And during that time, I've been working with a lot of challenges and large companies and startups that are looking for more sustainable solutions. So some years ago already, I started to look for some kind of training for how to create a method around sustainability. And then in my network, I heard or saw that you had started this course. So I'm very happy and pleased that I could get in contact with you and make this certification, which I believe is one way really of taking companies forward in their innovation and sustainability work.
Yeah. Well, as you said, you're working with startups and entrepreneurs, and what would you advise them on? How do they take on sustainability? Where do they start?
Well, if you are a startup, you might be one person or just having a small team, and of course a limited amount of resources. I would say that thinking of sustainability, if you haven't done it in the core of the business, I would suggest that in the same way as you address growth, I would address sustainability. Kind of putting questions around what my values are. Could they actually also contribute to sustainable business somehow? And the vision, if my vision is to create a larger company, that could definitely be one ability of finding something within this global goals that you can penetrate and work with and use as a benefit towards your potential customers.
Yeah, great. And just this question of why should they work with sustainability or work with the sustainable development goals? Maybe there are some entrepreneurs out there wondering of why should I do that? I mean,
that's a really good question. And I would say if you don't do it, you take the risk of automatically excluding some of your biggest stakeholders. That means, for instance, if you don't address the sustainability goals and you would like to become a supplier to a larger company, you might not actually be interesting for them as their supplier, because they are very much into, I mean, they need to, and they are in the process of improving their own sustainability work, and you as a supplier can only help them in that. And the more you can show them that they will be beneficial for them, the more interesting you might be. But then of course you need to think of your own business also. And in the core of the business, especially if you're a startup, you usually, at some point at least, you are in need of resources, and that means both investments and people. And from the investment side, there's a really strong drive going for social investments, green investments, meaning that the long-term opportunities that sustainability provides are seen from investor point of views as more bucks for money. And from another point of view, when you're looking into the employers as a resource, like attracting new people to your company, we know that, as a matter of fact, that younger people are more prone into joining companies or engaging themselves in areas where you actually are thinking about sustainability.
Yeah.
And as the world is looking right now, that this is not awkward. So instead of sticking your head down in the ground, because we every day long hear about sustainability, I would strongly advise that to use it as a tool for your own benefits instead as a startup.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's the key takeaway, I would say.
Yeah. So actually, I mean, if we summarize what you're talking about, it's kind of your business case also to get involved in sustainability.
Absolutely. It's one important part of your business case, since it's a value proposition that you can offer.
Yeah. Great. And I'm just curious because, well, you work with a lot of startups now at MINC. So I'm like, your daily work, how does that look like? What do you do? How do you work with the entrepreneurs and the startups?
It is a lot of the time it's about advising them in the steps they need and the decisions they need to make themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not all the time about sustainability. There are many other questions. There are everything from more practical issues to more long-term ones. And what I think is important is to kind of see where the company is, or where the entrepreneur is right now, and try to give them the support in that area where they need. It could be talking to an investor. It could be learning more about the production side. It could be finding a new team member. Mm. But of course, while doing this, if you don't have a written, usually, or very often you don't have a written strategy, but if you have a business case and the business model, mm-hmm. you can show what you have, and that's one part of that is, of course, then sustainable business goals.
Yeah. And in the course, the certification course, Business for SDGs, there's this part of train the trainer part where you bring in your pilot company and apply your knowledge on. And you had a pilot company. Could you just tell us a little bit about how you proceeded there and how you approached your pilot case or pilot company?
Absolutely. It's I mean, the pilot case makes it possible to apply the more theoretical or the methodology to a case, which is, I mean, if that's the case that I am working with and will like to continue working with, also supporting other companies in defining how they can work with the global goals. So that's kind of the first exercise that is actually a trial on what you're going to do afterwards. I think it's very helpful. And if you've been working with defining goals and opportunities, but also challenges in companies before, it's rather similar to, like, it's a big analysis, and in the pilot case, it's of course a bit more narrow. But it's an analysis of a company, and to kind of get your eyes spot those areas where they can be opportunities for this company. I think it's very useful, and I also think for the companies that gets this exercise, it can be a kind of a door opener for how they can proceed if they don't know when or how to start.
Yeah.
So I think it's helpful for both sides.
So what do you think was your biggest achievement so far, or insights from the course?
I actually think that the biggest insight is that it's not just about the talk, especially since we've seen, like, within the last year, there is hardly any news that you hear where you're not talking about a subject relating to sustainability.
Yeah.
And I think the risk with that is that people get tired of it. So, and I think that the importance of showing that you can make profit, you can create better organizations where people are more engaged and thrive and can contribute more. I think that is what we need, to be more people who can talk in those ways, that can show that we have an instrument for actually working towards it, and not just standing and thinking, I do not know what to contribute with, and getting scared or frustrated or just reluctant.
Yes. And I happen to know that you're really good at that, inspiring people and encouraging them in a positive way and a positive thinking. And you said to me that people comes first. It's like I think it's really well put, that people come first, and then you can create the business. But tell us about how do you work with people? How do you do it? How do you inspire them?
Firstly, it's about, I think it's about seeing people who they are.
Yeah.
You need to start with where you are, and of course, not everyone will be inspired, because that would be amazing. That would be I don't know. Probably didn't have to think that much about what I was doing. I could just it's about seeing people who they are and starting from their start, their point, and then moving them, understanding what their needs are and what their whys are. If you don't think sustainability is important, yes, it might take a longer while, and you can't win them all, at least not at the same time. And so it's more about working slowly towards creating an understanding of what the value can be in these innovations in sustainability work. And then eventually, when the profit or the benefits are known to more people will also see it as an eye-opener.
Yeah.
So it's about finding courageous people also, and kind of also putting them in the light. It's not me doing work, it's themselves doing it.
Yeah. And well, as I said in the beginning, you're working as an innovation manager. And how would you put, like, innovation and sustainability? Are they connected to one another, or what is your comments about that?
I would say absolutely. I would say that without innovation, you couldn't create that much. Well, of course, you could create value, but you make it more exponential, because you can more easily find new markets, new customers, better solutions.
Yeah.
And I'm a bit, since I'm not an environmental strategist or something. I have learned in at a later point of time certifications like ISO and other greenhouse gas protocols, emission protocols, and so on. That of course are also regulations that are necessary, and I see that many people come from thinking of sustainability from a regulatory point of view. And of course you need that also. And we need policies to drive the development also. And they can actually also drive innovation. But if you only look upon the regulations, you tend to miss the market benefits, the opportunities that there are in the market. And so by being creative and understanding the market and the needs, you can actually create innovative, sustainable solutions.
Yeah, great. Very well put. I think it's like you said, that sustainability and innovation are connected to one another. Thank you, Karin. So just a quick question: who should connect with you on LinkedIn?
I would say no matter if you are within a larger organization or in a smaller one, and you are interested in discussing and understanding how other people create benefit with sustainability. That I would really like to connect. I mean, I'm in this process myself, so I'm eager to learn, and I'm also willing to share whatever thoughts and learnings I have.
Yes, I mean, I think you have a lot to share. I mean, your knowledge is really on the spotlight right now. Innovation and sustainability and change leadership. So yeah, so okay, Karin, thank you very much for joining us today. And just one more quick question: what is your next? What will you do today? What is your next work today?
Well, my work today is about understanding why a company called Matmilla.
Matmilla? In Swedish.
They are
Can you translate that?
they are, well, I think it's hard to translate actually, but it's about nutrition and food. And what they do, they have more of a social impact company. They supply consumers with everything that they can imagine coming from farmers, but in a more structured way. So as a ready to go bag, you can order all those things from locally produced companies. There are very early, but they're already having customers in some cities. So I'm really excited to see what we can do together with them, how to support them to drive forwards in their business.
Wow, it sounds really interesting. You should share your insights afterwards when you have met them and worked with them. All right, thank you very much, Karin.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Have a nice day. Bye.
Yeah, bye.